Hi, I'm Jeff, and welcome to another one of my videos where I take a look at all the new comic books coming out on either June 7th or 8th, 2022. And I ask myself the question, what one new comic book would I buy this week if I could buy just one book? Let's go ahead and start off this video first by taking a look back at my pick from 2 weeks ago, which was the Department of Truth, issue number 18. And the question remains, was it a worthy and worthwhile pick to be my just one book pick of the week? The answer is, yeah, it was. It was really, really good. I liked it. Now, once again, I acknowledge the Department of Truth is not for everybody, but it's definitely for me, and I'm definitely liking it a lot, and I definitely enjoyed issue number 18. Now, this came out in a week that also saw Something is Killing the Children, issue number 23. And, in a week where I have these two heavy hitters for me, you all know what a big James Tynion IV fan I am. Like, should I have picked one over the other? No, they were both really, really, really good. But I liked getting back to the main storyline for the Department of Truth. So that book still gets a little bit of the edge for me and retains its legitimacy as my just one book pick for the week. All right, let's go ahead and move forward and take a look at the books that are coming out this week. Now, this week is going to be a little bit different. I've done this before, but I haven't done it in a while. I don't have a pick this week. There are a lot of cool books that are coming out this week, but none of them are especially, individually, singularly exciting for me. So I have a lot of books that I'm going to talk to you about this week, but I'm going to talk to you about them with very little commentary so that I can get through them all as quickly as possible. Once again, they are all honorable mentions and no pick of this week. Let's start off first by taking a look at the books that I will be purchasing this week, none of which are my honorable mentions. These are the books in my poll that I will be purchasing. I'm getting Twig, issue number 2. I liked issue number 1. I'm looking forward to issue number 2. I'm getting Star Wars, issue number 24. I enjoyed this Star Wars title much more than I would have ever imagined enjoying a Star Wars title. I'm also getting Batman, issue 124. This is the last issue by Joshua Williamson before Chip Zdarsky takes over. So I'm interested in seeing if any little goodies get left behind by Mr. Williamson and possibly picked up by Mr. Zdarsky with issue 125. And my last book that I am buying this week is THOR, issue number 26. And if you needed a reason why, just look at that cover. I think it was in the last issue of Hulk where something very extreme and Kate's-esque, I should say, happened to Thor, and we're going to get more of that story here in Thor issue number 26. Looks pretty rad, and I'm looking forward to checking that one. I guess if I had a personal pick, I'd probably pick Thor 26. It's the one of those 4 books that I'm most excited about checking out. But let's go ahead and jump into these many honorable mentions. Once again, I'm going to move through them quickly. The first one is The Ballad of Ronan, issue number 1 from Action Lab Comics. Here's the description. Long ago, a war raged to extinguish all magic from this world, and magic has not been felt since. But when Aisling, an angry Irish orphan, runs away from foster care, she's going to discover that the war isn't over. And with the help of an ancient Celtic warrior, a rogue priest, and a dark fairy, she will find herself on the run from the darkest creatures of the ages. Her only hope, find out where the magic went and how to bring it back. Action Lab presents the next new series that fans of Once and Future have been waiting for. All right, well, if you like magic and fantasy, I think this might be a fun book worth checking out this week, similar to this next one, which is Potions Inc., issue number 1 from Mad Cave Studios. Here's the description. The call of adventure always seems to hang up whenever Rabelgast Jones tries to answer it, leaving him facing the dull future of working in his family's successful potion shop. But when a powerful artifact is stolen from his parents and puts them under a terrible curse, Ran finally gets the quest he's been after his whole life. He and his siblings set off to find the missing artifact, and its trail leads them from their homeland of Primaterra to the very strange realm of Earth. All right, well, if you'd like a fantasy adventure book, this one seems like it could be pretty cool and worth checking out this week. The next book I have to mention to you is Miss Meow, issue number 1 from Merc Magazine. Here's the description. Miss Meow attends the Merc Gala event to acquire the helmet of Leonidas, but someone from her past shows up to foil her plans. Merc Publishing proudly presents our flagship title, Miss Meow. A fun, crazy, and exciting new universe of characters is introduced here. Alright, so if you want to throw some attention toward a new publisher and a new character and a new universe, and stuff like what Miss Meow proposes to be, and what it proposes to be is pretty clear by the covers, this book might be something worth checking out for you. The next book I want to mention is a new book called Code 45, issue number 1 from Scout Comics. Here's the description. There are dragons lurking in the tunnels underneath Montreal's city streets. At least that's the rumor that confronts new Metro driver Vanessa. Terrified by these mysterious and horrifying apparitions, the night shift turns to self-medication, losing the ability to tell the difference between reality and fantasy. Pulled in deep by the underground raves that blast through the system's abandoned stations, Vanessa quickly finds herself on the verge of crossing into a dark world she never knew existed. I actually think that this sounds more interesting than the description itself even lets on. I think that this could be an interesting, entertaining, fun story to check out, and if it sounds that way to you, maybe you consider giving it a shot and trying it out this week. The next book I want to mention is The Ward, issue number 1 from Dark Horse Comics. Here's the description. From the writer of Star Wars, The High Republic, comes an intense medical drama brimming with fairies, trolls, and real human pathos. St. Lilith's is a secret hospital for supernatural creatures. The personnel are overworked, and the facility is underfunded. It's a place and a life Dr. Nat Reeves thought she left behind until a wounded woman with a tail appears on her doorstep. ER meets Hellboy. Alright, well, there are a lot of fantasy books coming out this week, so if you're a fan of fantasy and a fan of adventure, this might be a fantastic week for you to try out a bunch of new comic books. But this is a medical drama meets fantasy story. Is it going to be the worst mashup ever, or is it going to be the best one? Like the most, hey, we've never done this before, let's try these two things, and they just work out great. Who knows? But if any of these things, if medical dramas or fantasy stuff or the combination of the two is interesting to you, you might consider picking up The Ward this week. The next book I want to mention to you is Astronaut Down, issue number 1 from Aftershock Comics. Here's the description. Douglas Spitzer wants to be one of the astronauts selected for the crucial mission Pulitzer. And just like astronauts like Buzz Aldrin and Sally Ride, Douglas is brave, adaptable, and self-sacrificing. He's one of the program's best candidates. But if he qualifies, Douglas won't be traveling through space. He'll be launched into alternate realities on a desperate mission to save Earth from a horrific crisis that has our world on the brink of extinction. Unfortunately, it's a mission where everything will go wrong, where Douglas's training and very humanity will be put to the test, and where a deep-seated secret could sabotage everything. Okay, of all these new books that I've mentioned so far, this is the one that is the most interesting to me. I am definitely interested in space things, but this isn't even a space thing. The line where it says here, he'll be launched into alternate realities on a desperate mission to save Earth from a horrific crisis that has our world on the brink of extinction. High stakes, high adventure, alternate realities. This seems like it could be a pretty cool book to check out this week. So if I'm feeling a little bit adventurous, I think this is the one I'll try. The next book I want to mention to you is Fortnite X Marvel Zero War, issue number 1 from Marvel Comics. Here's the description. The Marvel Universe collides with Fortnite. The inhabitants on the island are locked in what seems like a never-ending war, and only one thing has the potential to turn the tide: a crystallized fragment of the 0 point that was cast into the Marvel Universe. Spider-Man and Wolverine team up with several Fortnite fighters and new recruit Shuri to hunt down the elusive Zero Shard. Will these allies be able to find it in time and avert catastrophe? And can the heroes of the Marvel and Fortnite realities hold off the imagined order long enough to give them a fighting chance? Epic Games' chief creative officer, Donald Mustard, teams up with veteran Marvel writer Christos Gage and artist Sergio Davila for a 5-part crossover event with enormous ratifications for both universes. Each print contains a redeemable code to unlock a bonus digital cosmetic in Fortnite. Okay, I could have just read the last sentence for you and then told you why this book is something you should consider this week, and it's exactly that. It's the digital code for the cosmetic piece that you can use in Fortnite. Now, when Fortnite and DC, teamed up and put out comic books over there, they were really big hits right out the gate because everybody wanted those codes. Now, what people didn't realize is that those codes would continue to be available to readers in many different ways. In first prints, in later prints, in the trade that came out that collected all of the individual issues. There were lots of opportunities to get this code. So people were spending $20 like a day or two after this book came out because they wanted to get those codes. But then they realized they made a mistake. Now, the difference with this one is that this says each first print issue contains a redeemable code to unlock a bonus digital cosmetic in Fortnite. Well, will that mean that this is the only place you're going to get those codes? Is only in these first prints? I don't know. But it is worth paying attention to because people were super pumped about this, and that was for DC stuff. This is Marvel stuff, and Marvel is unquestionably more popular than DC, so I think people are really going to want these codes. People are going to really want these cosmetics for their characters in Fortnite, and so I have a feeling like this book might fly off the shelf. So if you're thinking you might be able to buy a couple and flip them and make some money, this might be a book for you. If you're interested in Fortnite and the cosmetic skins, you might want to make sure that your comic shop has one of these ready for you because I have a feeling they're going to go very, very quickly. The next book I want to mention to you is Poison Ivy, issue number 1 from DC. Here's the description. Pamela Isley has been a lot of things in her life: a living god, a supervillain, an activist, a scientist, and dead. In a new body that she didn't ask for and with a renewed sense of purpose, Ivy leaves Gotham and sets out to complete her greatest work, a gift to the world that will heal the damage dealt to it by ending humanity. Spinning out of the pages of Batman, DC is proud to present the unbelievable next chapter in Poison Ivy's life by the incredible creative team of G. Willow Wilson and Marcio Takara, featuring a stunning cast of variant covers, including Warren Luau, Frank Cho, Dan Mora, Nick Robles, and introducing main cover artist Jessica Fong. Okay, so I mentioned this book because Poison Ivy's cool. Come on, Batman's villains in general are just awesome, and Poison Ivy is absolutely no exception. So I think a Poison Ivy-centric comic book could actually be quite entertaining and could actually do quite well. So if you're a Poison Ivy fan, if you're a fan of Batman's Rogues Gallery, this might be a book worth checking out this week. The next book I want to mention to you is Multiversity Teen Justice, issue number 1 of a 6-issue limited series from DC. Here's the description. Kid Quick, the future state Flash, and their fellow heroes, Supergirl, Robin, Aquagirl, Clarion, the Witch Girl, and Troy, take center stage in a miniseries that rocks Earth 11 to its core. Co-writers Ivan Cohen and Danny Lohr join rising star artist Marco Falia for the incredible debut issue, which begins with an attack by the Hive, Hive, and ends in the Church of Blood. What is Sister Blood's true mission among the lost souls of New York City? Can Teen Justice get through their growing pains fast enough to learn the answer in time to stop it? And what role will the mysterious Raven, the brooding hero who has refused to join the team in the past, play in the ultimate battle? The secrets of Earth 11's newest heroes and villains unfold in DC's most exciting new team title. As usual, DC's descriptions are too long and convoluted, but I read it the best I could anyway. This book is interesting to me because, as I've mentioned before in other videos, I think that the next generation of superheroes is worth paying attention to. I think that there will be a increased emphasis and focus on next generation superheroes moving forward, and this is a collection of them right there. So if you want to know who these characters are, what's going on with them, this is a good opportunity to get in the know, so to speak, with this book, Multiversity Teen Justice. The next book I want to mention to you is a new book called Dark Crisis, issue number 1 of a 7-issue limited series from DC. Here's the description. Crisis on Infinite Earths, Infinite Crisis, Final Crisis, and now Dark Crisis. The epic event years in the making is finally here. Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, and the rest of the Justice League are dead. The remaining heroes are left to protect the world from an onslaught of violent attacks by DC's greatest villains. Can the legacy heroes step out of the shadows of the classic heroes to form a new Justice League? And will that be enough to stop a darkness greater than anything they've ever faced from destroying everything? Don't miss out on the first issue of the blockbuster event of the summer. Okay, so when you evoke things like Crisis on Infinite Earths, Infinite Crisis, Final Crisis, you now have to stand up and pay attention. These have been some major events in the DC universe. So this promises is another Crisis book. You know, you notice they all have the word crisis in it. Well, this is Dark Crisis. And so this is likely to be a pretty epic and intense story. So for that reason alone, it's probably worth checking out. But then you also have to keep in mind that it's focusing on the legacy heroes, not the classic heroes. These legacy heroes, these next generation of the classic heroes. That's interesting as well for the same reasons, you know, I mentioned with Multiversity Teen Justice. This is a book that is focusing on future characters, up-and-coming characters in the DC universe, and therefore can't be ignored. So this is, I think, a great book for anybody who wants some kind of gigantic epic tale. It is a 7-part, so I'm sure it'll have reverberations in several other DC titles, but if you want to, you can probably just focus on this 7-issue series, get all the story that you need, enjoy it, get something epic, awesome, overblown, that kind of focuses on the next generation of characters. So I think there's a lot of reasons that to check out Dark Crisis issue number 1 this week. And the last book that I'm going to mention as an honorable mention, I didn't mention this before, but these are all presented in no particular order. So this isn't my favorite. This is just the last one I'm mentioning of my honorable mentions. And that book is Aquaman, Andromeda. Andromeda, I think I pronounced that correctly. Issue number 1 of a 3-issue limited series. This is from DC Black Label. Here's the description. Deep in the Pacific Ocean, at the farthest possible distance from any land, sits Point Nemo, the spaceship graveyard. Since the dawn of the space race, the nations of the world have sent their crafts there on splashdown to sink beneath the silent seas. But there is something else at Point Nemo, a structure never made by human hands, and that structure seems to be waking up. The crew of the experimental submarine Andromeda, powered by a mysterious black hole drive, has been chosen to investigate this mystery, but they aren't the only ones pursuing it. Anything of value beneath the ocean is of value to the master pirate Black Manta, and anything that attracts Black Manta attracts Arthur Curry, his lifelong foe, the Aquaman. But heaven help them all when the doors of the mystery at Point Nemo swing wide to admit them, bringing a bracing cosmic horror sensibility to the world of Aquaman. Rising superstars Ram V and Christian Ward team up to put Arthur Curry through an exercise in psychological terror that could break the will of even a king. Once again, DC, thank you for the very long description. Okay, so this is something that generally I wouldn't be interested in. I am not a fan of Aquaman. There aren't a ton of Aquaman fans out there, but that's not what's interesting to me about this title. What's interesting to me about this is the premise. I kind of liked the what it said here. Oh boy, I'm missing it now. You know, a cosmic horror sensibility. That this is an Aquaman story happening under the sea with a cosmic horror sensibility. That seems like it could be pretty cool and pretty interesting, and is just a big enough swing that if it connects, that could really be awesome and entertaining. Once again, this is in the DC Black Label format, so it is a larger format. It's not a normal sized comic book. It is also more expensive. It's $7, $6.99 per issue for each of the 3 issues. But you know what? If I was an Aquaman fan, I'd be stoked about this, because it sounds like this would be something that could be really an awesome story. And if you're not an Aquaman fan, boy, this premise alone sounds pretty cool, and something that might be worth checking out. All right, that's all the books that I want to mention this week. Wow, including my honorable mentions, I think I mentioned about 15 books, maybe 16 plus my pick from 2 weeks ago. Hope this video isn't too long. Hopefully you found the information interesting. If you did, likes are appreciated by me. In addition, if you haven't already subscribed, please do subscribe. I'm almost at 500 subscribers, and I'm thinking once I get to 500, I might do a little giveaway to get me to 1,000. We'll see about that, but please do subscribe if you haven't already. As always, thank you all so much for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one.